doing today, Darren?
I'm
How have things been going?
pretty good so far. A little anxious to hear my results and everything, but I'm optimistic, so I'm excited to
Okay.
talk some more.
All right. How did you feel about your results? Actually, before I get started on that question, do you mind if I take notes again?
Oh no, absolutely, go
Okay.
for it.
All right then. So how did you feel about your results?
Um, Pretty good, honestly. They showed a
Okay.
few different results that I wasn't expecting.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of different. I've always seen myself in more of the education and academic side, but they
Yeah.
gave examples of a lot of more. How would you say it? Working with others in a clinical position or in a supplementary goal oriented position, which I was
Mm-hmm.
not thinking of myself, but it said it on a couple quizzes, I think, so I would definitely be interested to see what you have to think about that.
Okay. So basically, I know from your intake, I want to address things that we discussed, things we talked about, such as things you're looking for in life, what you enjoy, your abilities, what you prefer. Then take that and create an action plan for your results that will be discussing, and then think about the next steps that can come with that. After discussing your results and seeing how you feel or how they make you feel,
Yeah,
how do you feel about that? Okay.
that sounds
All
great.
right.
Perfect.
Okay. So what you want to expect and like basically going back to your intake as well is to be successful, to be content, to be comfortable, to be stable, but also pursue something that helps you reach your purpose in life, what you
Right.
want to pursue. Um, and
Feeling
then taking it back,
fulfilled.
definitely, and taking it back to what you had a background in, such as biology, psychology, medical. You even got your feet wet in architecture. Um,
Yeah.
I know we discussed that, you know, that you were not interested in banks. That was not
No.
you. That was not your style. We talked about the structure you're looking for, how you're an introvert, how you like exploring, you enjoy nature. Basically, like I said, you want to find things that align with your purpose and your interests and what you enjoy, and you don't
Totally.
want to be overwhelmed.
Yes.
I know we discussed STEM, how that benefited you a whole lot throughout your life.
Mm-hmm.
And your end goal was to be a college professor. So how we can relate and take those what you discussed in intake and compare and or contrast to your results from your assessments. All right. So for
Cool.
your results, I know the ONET, the Holland, and it was a couple more. I know it was a career profile interest one.
Mm-hmm. I think so.
And so just going through some of your results, I'll pull them up and check over those. So just looking at how thinking was actually one of the highest, it was 100 for you. How do you take that versus building or creating or helping? Because I think you overall your score could vary because I just listening to you during your intake how you've been through it. You've been through a lot. You've
Yeah.
dealt with a lot. You dibbed and dabbled in a lot. So it's like the thinking it was 100. So how do you feel about that score?
Well, it's interesting. I, for the longest time, have not been able to nail down exactly what I think I'm good at and what
Mm-hmm.
I'm like to do. But one
Yeah.
thing that has been consistent across the board is I'm an introvert and I'm a very deep thinker. I am very, like, conscious about other things. I'm very imaginative. Like, I spend a lot of time deep thinking, sometimes to my own detriment. But it's been a security being able to like introspectively think about things on my own, and it's kind of helped me feel more secure in making my own decisions. So
Yes.
I think that shows a good relation to how I feel about things. Is I may not always act on what I think about, but I think about stuff a lot.
Definitely. Definitely, I understand. And it definitely takes me back to the intake. Just listen to what you talked about, and what you discussed, how ideas, concepts, science, technology, theory, research, how intellectual you are, and how that's important to you. Like
Yeah.
that being, your personality. That's what you want people to see or understand about you. So that is very important. And so, how do you feel with those results? Do you think you could relate? Is
Um,
there something you don't prefer or didn't care much about the score?
I think in general, it does show what I may not always think about myself, but what I have seen in myself looking back. I've never seen
Mm-hmm.
myself as a creative person, but I've got a little bit in there. And being introspective and introverted, it kind of puts me in those positions where I may not always be like the outgoing kind of career, but even still, being a professor has always been like my ideal role between the lifestyle, the academics, and then a little bit of the intrapersonal thing because ultimately I don't want to spend all of my time alone. So I think that will be a good balance. But there are some other positions I think that they mentioned that I would be good for. Interestingly, I think they mentioned being a psychologist, which was not my original plan, just
Mm-hmm.
again because I'm not usually the most outwardly empathetic. But I think it could definitely be something I could look into. I think a couple people have mentioned that in my life, and so it's interesting like that they mentioned that too.
So definitely, as you're discussing, the career interests are basically from those scores, the careers to explore, such as political science, the
Mm-hmm.
psychologist, the sociologist, the biochemist. Just thinking of your background and your abilities, how that is beneficial to what it says for jobs or options to explore that will benefit you a whole lot in life.
Totally.
And so that goes, I want to talk about the other results, which are other test score. I wanted to focus on the big five, basically how the intellectual or the intellect, the score was a 46 versus your emotional stability was a 9. And as well as your extroversion was a 35. So with the emotional stability, how do you feel about that with that score?
That
And what do you
was
think about that?
right. That was a little surprising because I have had some mental health issues in the past, but I generally see myself as like a pretty calm, stable person. But I think that the test probably shows a better representation of myself. I think I get clouded by my perception and not how other people see myself. And so that was interesting. I definitely enjoyed reading that. And then the extroversion, I'm honestly surprised that it was as high as that. Um, which
Especially
again,
with the introvert, yeah.
yeah,
So
it's
I
just,
I I agree.
yeah,
That it could have caught you, off guard because of you discussed and intake how you're an introvert,
right.
and then to see that score at that number, and it's a higher score.
Higher than I was
So I
expecting for sure.
definitely, and I think it definitely can go with giving yourself more credit,
Yeah.
or seeing, the way people might see you might not actually be what you really are, and seeing how that can help you in life as well. Um, so that score definitely stood out to me. Just listen to, your intake,
Right.
what you're discussing, and seeing those results. And then that takes me to basically your personality traits or your test. How you're an adventurer. Are you adventurous? How do you feel about that? Because
I I love the
that's,
idea of adventure. I'm kind of an
mm-hmm,
again, being an introvert, I'm kind of a nervous person about doing new things, but it kind of plays into my it was my thoughtfulness score that was 100, correct? Or my
mm-hmm.
conscious or I
You're
think it
thinking. You're
yes,
thinking.
thank you.
Yes.
I think it plays into that because I like to put myself in positions where I can explore and use
Mm-hmm.
and think about things. So walking outside, exploring new places, thinking about imagining things, imagining my position in these places, and then in the academic side, exploring new topics, exploring new research options, and being able to hone that in with my mind and really sit and think with that. So,
So definitely exploring will definitely help with, having and establishing a plan, which I will help you with. Not only that, discovering your career choice, it will come with challenges.
mm-hmm.
You will see scores or see things about yourself that you're like, hold on, that, wait a minute. And it not necessarily shake you or make you feel like, am I doing the right thing? And is that really what I want to pursue in life? It just shows you or it brings out, things about yourself there. It's like, I do, I am strong in that area, or I do need to work on that area. But not only that, that's not going to, define me as what I
Right.
want to chase or have as a career.
Right.
It could actually, With that score at being a 9, it could actually be something that your boss or your superiors or your coworkers see as, that is what makes you you.
Right.
And that is why they hire you.
Right.
So you
It
got to
is
look at it that way as well.
right. I do think a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times I can kind of be my own worst enemy. I kind of put
Mm-hmm.
myself, or I like set these expectations that I don't think I can meet, but really I can, and the other people see that, but I don't see that. So it's very
Mm-hmm.
interesting to hear that you say that and kind of go along with that thought.
Definitely. I mean, that's the reason for all of the assessments. It's basically, you want clarification. You want clarity. You want to see, where am I? You're not necessarily confused or undecided, but you just need somebody to help push you to figure out,
Yes.
this is what's best for me. The uncertainty that you have, and you just want confirmation
Right. Exactly.
that can help you. And you just want direction, and that's what I'm here for. Not only that, you want satisfaction from that. You want to be satisfied in what, you do end up doing or you do choose as your career.
Right. That is how I feel. I feel a little scattered sometimes, and so this has been helpful to try and like narrow my mind down and like get it to where I need to be and would be a good fit. So,
It enhances understanding for you.
yes,
I think
definitely, very much so.
so. All right. So with any of that, the results that I provided, how do you feel? What do you think? What are you feeling right now? What's your thought process?
Overall, I'm feeling good. I feel like the things that I knew about myself, I definitely knew about myself, being an introvert, being very like mind oriented, but the things that surprised me again, the extroversion, even though it wasn't like the highest score, it was still higher than I thought it would be. And then some of the job recommendations, political science, I had never
Mm-hmm.
even thought of, like not even on the radar. A biochemist is definitely something interesting. I love biology and chemistry, and I love being in an academic setting, so I could see that one for sure. So I think it had a good balance of stuff that I was thinking and expecting, but then it threw some that I didn't necessarily think of and
Some
could possibly.
curveballs.
Yeah, exactly. But
So,
it would be interesting to.
sorry.
No, you're totally fine. I was just gonna say it would be interesting to learn more about each one, and go along with that.
All right. So with those curveballs, do you feel like, oh wow, now what? I have other options now. I'm still confused, or do you feel like, okay, I can, like how you did, basically what you discussed in intake, how you went different routes to see what you
Right.
liked, what you enjoyed. And so even with the political science, the science part, just how you enjoy nature and exploration and just some of your background, some of the things that interest you or your abilities, how that could be beneficial in that career setting versus, how you enjoy biology as well
Right.
or how you want to be, a professor. So you could take some of these results and you can add that to your belt, which could benefit you in life as well. Because who knows, the application you apply for, they're looking for this, but you bring this to the table,
Mm-hmm.
and that could help you elevate and secure that job.
Right. And I think
Mm-hmm.
with the variety of career
Mm-hmm.
options that my test showed, I think I'm ready to try different things and see where I would be a good fit. But I think I definitely want to go off your advice and what you've
Mm-hmm.
thought about with my results and talking to me what you think would be a good fit for me because obviously I don't want to waste a whole bunch of time and I want to
Mm-hmm.
be comfortable in a space. So
Definitely.
but I'm open to trying different things and looking into new things to
Mm-hmm.
see these ones that I had no idea I would be a good fit for.
Definitely being versatile. I want you to embrace that, whether
Yeah.
you want to or not. And if you don't want to, feel free to say so. But the versatility in the person, a lot of jobs, they seek that, or they see, oh, this person, they can go with the flow.
Right.
If I
Totally.
was to give them this task and they're still confident in themselves to perform that task, whether it's something they've done before or something they've never heard of. So I definitely can see you doing that because you're confident, you're very intelligent, and you have a bright future ahead.
Oh,
So
well, thank you so much. I
yeah.
appreciate that.
All right. So if you need me, feel free, to reach out, contact me, ask me any questions about your results or assessments. If you want to take more assessments, because my goal is to assist you and help you understand, and also interpret things for you so you can be successful. Okay.
Cool. I think what I'll probably do is maybe fill out a few applications just to a
Okay.
few close by places, and then I might reach out to you and see what your thoughts are on these, and
Mhm.
if you think I'd be a good fit, and what the interviewer says and what you say,
Okay.
and basically go along with that.
All right. I like that. I like that. I like that you're
Cool.
pursuing it. So if you need, do you have any questions, any comments, any concerns?
Um, I don't think so. You've done a great job going through everything, so I really appreciate your time.
All right. You've done a great job, allowing me to help you, and I
Yeah,
appreciate
I
that. And I'm
definitely.
here for you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, I'll talk to you later.
Thank you so
I hope
much
you have a
again.
good one. All
Thank you.
right.
You too.
See ya.
Bye bye.